Incredible journey of healing. How I discovered my daughter-in-law's hidden love in just 14 days. The summer sun gleamed down on Maplewood, the sort of day that made the heart swell with pride for small-town life. The annual community festival buzzed with laughter and festivity, a celebration of neighbors and friends, as Sarah watched her youngest son Jake prepare to take his vows with Lisa. But beneath her smile, a storm brewed, a sense of unease whispering doubts about this new member of her family. Sarah, a recently retired schoolteacher in her late 50s, had spent years nurturing the bright minds of this town. She had devoted her life to shaping the future of her sons. Pride filled her as Jake tightened his tie next to her. Yet, as she thought of Lisa, that pride was muddied by anxiety about the young woman's past. Coming from a single-parent home, burdened by financial struggles, could Lisa truly fit into their tight-knit world? Every laugh echoing around her felt tainted with skepticism, a thought she despised yet couldn't shake. The scent of warm funnel cakes and sweet lemonade swirled in the air, enticing kids to dart around the festival grounds. But Sarah's heart grew tight as she watched Lisa's infectious laughter mingle with the others. With every cheerful exchange, Sarah felt the invisible boundary widen. Would Lisa's challenges seep into their family legacy? Even as they recalled cherished family memories together, the unspoken tension between them clouded her vision. Just when it felt like she couldn't bear it any longer, news tore through the festival like a thunderclap. Lisa's family home was at risk of foreclosure, deep in a pit of unforeseen debts. It struck Sarah like lightning, igniting an unsettling mix of anger and sorrow. How dare this woman, her future daughter-in-law, bring such turmoil? Yet, as she watched the determination in Lisa's eyes, a fierce love as strong as any storm, her heart ached for the girl she barely knew. In the fervor of community celebrations, Sarah's eyes landed on an unexpected object held tightly in Lisa's hand. A set of handmade quilts that glimmered with intricate patterns. They were a stark contrast to the chaos surrounding them. Each stitch woven with love, each patch a story of perseverance. Shock clouded Sarah's judgment, but when she caught a glimpse of the artistry, she felt her heart begin to thaw. This wasn't just fabric. It was Lisa's hidden love spilling onto the fabric of their lives, unraveling her preconceived notions one thread at a time. The tension fractured as the evening wore on, and Sarah saw an opportunity. They could work together to help those facing challenges like Lisa was facing. But could she learn to embrace the artist behind her skepticism? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the festival began to wind down, Sarah felt herself at a crossroads. Could they truly collaborate and find common ground? The shifts in her heart stirred the pot of hope within her. Could this festival, once a simple celebration, mark the beginning of a new path for herself, her family, and Lisa? The light of understanding flickered ahead, but would it be enough to illuminate the way? The journey into acceptance had just begun. The sun dipped low in the evening sky, casting long shadows over the festival grounds as the buzz of laughter began to fade. Sarah stood with Jake, his excitement palpable, as he prepared to welcome his bride. Yet, her thoughts wandered to Lisa. The quilts. Those handmade treasures spoke volumes, yet Sarah still felt the weight of unspoken fears anchoring her. "Mom, are you okay?" Jake's voice broke through her reverie. She turned, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Just thinking about how beautiful everything is," she replied, her heart racing. Jake beamed, his hands in his pockets. "I can't wait for you to get to know Lisa better. She's amazing." His enthusiasm warmed her momentarily. Here was this young man, filled with love, and yet, Sarah couldn't shake the unsettling knot in her stomach. As twilight settled in, the festival's enchanting lights flickered on, illuminating faces filled with joy. It was a picturesque scene, but Sarah remained on the periphery. She watched as Lisa, enveloped in laughter with other festival-goers, spun around like a child in a field of daisies, living fully in the moment. Sarah's heart ached. How could she bridge that gap? "Hey, Mom," Jake interrupted her thoughts. "Want to help me grab Lisa for the bouquet toss?" Sarah nodded, unsure. As they approached Lisa, who was in the midst of a conversation with some friends, Sarah felt a rush of conflicting emotions. Jake joined the chat, playful, teasing. But Sarah, standing just beyond the group, noticed Lisa's eyes light up, contrasting her earlier concerns. "Lisa," Jake called, excitement in his voice. "We're having the bouquet toss. You in?" Lisa turned, her smile illuminating the shadows gathering around Sarah's heart. "Absolutely. Let me just grab my quilt," she said, bounding off to retrieve it. As Lisa returned, quilt in hand, Sarah felt her hesitation fade beneath the fabric's vibrant colors. Each patchwork was a testament to struggle and hope. It was Lisa's journey woven through love and care. "Wow, you made that?" Sarah asked, surprising herself. "Yeah, it's for the community center raffle," Lisa replied, her face glowing with pride. "I really believe in supporting each other during tough times." In that moment, something shifted. Sarah could see a glimpse of unity, something she hadn't expected, a kind of strength that resonated deep within her. As Jake laughed, ushering the crowd toward the center of the festival area, Sarah stood entranced by Lisa's passion. She felt an overwhelming urge to tell her directly how beautiful she found the quilts and how crucial her contributions were. But her voice caught in her throat. Then Lisa turned to her, a hint of vulnerability in her eyes. "Sarah, I hope this quilt represents the hope we all need for our future, together. I truly want to be part of this family." It was as if Lisa's words were a key, unlocking a door full of possibilities. The moment lay heavy between them, charged with both hope and uncertainty. Sarah took a step forward, heart racing. Could she find the courage to respond honestly? "Lisa, before she could finish, a loud cheer interrupted them as the bouquet toss began. The strobing lights pulsed like a heartbeat, and the crowd surged around them in a tide of excitement. The moment slipped away just as it had arrived, leaving Sarah with a rush of emotions she could neither fully grasp nor articulate. As laughter echoed in the distance, she realized they were standing on the brink of something profound. The journey of acceptance was fraught with challenges, and she could feel the weight of the path ahead. But would that path lead to the connection she yearned for? Or would her fears pull her back into doubt? With the air thick with possibility, she met Lisa's gaze, determination igniting deep within her. Tomorrow might bring clarity, but today, she felt an unfamiliar glow of hope. How could she support Lisa in a way that would knit them into a true family? What choices did she have ahead as they prepared for a life meant to be shared? The crowd cheered, a vibrant sea of faces illuminated by the festival lights. Sarah's heart pounded as she diverted her focus towards the joyful chaos, cheering a bit too loudly to mask her nervousness. Jake was swept into the frenzy, and Lisa's laughter rang out like music around them. Yet, amid the jubilation, a thought nagged at Sarah. How could she move beyond her reservations? As Lisa seized the quilt, she joined the other women eagerly gathering for the toss. Sarah watched with admiration. The quilt was an extension of Lisa's spirit, vibrant and alive. But Sarah felt herself retreating again. What if she couldn't match that warmth? What if she couldn't connect? "You know, Mom," Jake's voice pierced her spiral of thoughts, "I never saw Lisa like this before. She's so full of life." His eyes sparkled with admiration. "I just think you'd really get along." "Yeah, she's special," Sarah managed, though her voice felt thin. Jake grinned, and before she knew it, he was pulled away into the crowd, leaving her standing there with her swirling emotions. The sound of counting down for the toss filled the air, and Sarah felt an eager excitement mix with dread. With a swift nostalgia, she recalled the days when she was the center of attention, filled with hope and dreams. But those days felt so distant now, and she felt the warmth of the past flicker compared to the bold present right in front of her. Would she really allow Lisa in? Suddenly, she snapped back to the present, drawn by the jubilant voices echoing around her. It was time. As the bouquet flew through the air, Sarah caught sight of Lisa's vibrant smile, beaming like rays of sunlight breaking through clouds. The bouquet landed perfectly in Lisa's arms amidst cheers, laughter, and playful shoves from her friends. As Lisa waved to the crowd, Sarah felt a sense of clarity sneaking in. This wasn't just a festival, it was a chance to redefine their relationship. Maybe, just maybe, Lisa could help heal the parts of Sarah that felt lost. "Hey, Lisa," Sarah called out, her voice barely rising above the celebratory din. The young woman turned, surprised but attentive. Sarah felt the soft thrum of courage course through her. "Can we talk?" The words spilled out, and Sarah was stunned by her own audacity. "Of course," Lisa beamed, her eyes twinkling with genuine interest. She waved off her friends and made her way to Sarah, the quilt trailing like a banner of hope behind her. They moved aside from the bustling crowd, the laughter fading to a comfortable background hum. Lisa crossed her arms over the quilt, the fabric a protective barrier that connected them. "Are you okay?" Lisa asked softly. "You seem a bit reserved." "I just wanted to say," Sarah began, the words tangled in her throat, "I admire your quilts. They're beautiful. You put so much love into them." "That means a lot, Sarah," Lisa said, her expression brightening. "Each quilt tells a story, my story, our community's story." Then, hesitantly but with enough weight, Sarah added, "I want you to know that I want to be part of your story, too. Jake cares about you deeply, and I want to understand all the wonderful things about you." Lisa's face lit up, her vulnerability meeting Sarah's honesty. "I love that. Family can be complicated, but it can also be beautiful." The sincerity in Lisa's voice melted something within Sarah. Maybe this was the beginning of more than just acceptance. Maybe it was the start of a real connection. As the night buzzed on, Sarah felt hope begin to flourish within her, replacing the anxiety. Tonight, they'd begun to share their stories. But would this newfound connection be strong enough to withstand challenges ahead? Questions lingered in the air. Just as they began to step back into the festival, shadows shifted behind them. Another confrontation loomed on the horizon, one they hadn't anticipated. What lay ahead on this unexpected journey? As they rejoined the thrumming crowd, Sarah's heart raced with an unusual mix of excitement and unease. Lisa's presence felt warm, anchoring her to the moment, but shadows loomed beyond their newfound connection. Just as they turned toward the laughter and lights, a familiar figure emerged from the shadows. "Sarah." The voice cut through the festival sounds with a jarring clarity. It was Tom, Sarah's ex-husband, and a rush of conflicting emotions surged within her. She hadn't expected to see him here, at a festival meant for celebration and family bonding. "Tom," she replied, forcing a smile that hit her quickening heartbeat. "What are you doing here?" "I came to see Jake," he said bluntly, his gaze darting from her to Lisa, then back to her again. There was a judgment lurking in his eyes, a questioning of who Lisa was and why she seemed to share this moment with them. Lisa shifted slightly, sensing the tension in the air. Sarah felt a protective instinct rise within her, not just for her son, but for the budding friendship she was trying to forge with Lisa. "Jake's around here somewhere," Sarah said, keeping her tone light. "We were just enjoying the festival together." Tom crossed his arms, the frown on his face deepening. "This festival?" he scoffed. "A place for the mismatched and the lost?" Sarah's chest tightened. His words struck a nerve she had thought was buried. This was supposed to be a moment of joy, of opening her heart. Why was he here to twist the knife? Lisa stepped in, her voice steady and calm. "I believe this festival is about celebration, about bringing people together. You might not see it, but that's what matters." For a moment, Sarah felt gratitude surge for Lisa's defense. It was brave and pure, and she could see the understanding glimmer in Lisa's eyes as they both faced Tom. "Who are you to lecture me?" Tom spat, irritation seeping into his voice. "You barely know my family." Sarah took a breath, letting anger and hurt slide from her shoulders. "And you've got no right to judge either. We're trying to reconnect, to rebuild what we lost." The words echoed between them, heavy with truth and unresolved history. She met Tom's eyes, no longer cringing away but standing tall. It was as if a wall had finally crumbled between them, exposing scars, but also potential for healing. "See, this is why you always struggle." Tom's voice turned softer, but more condescending, as if pitying her was his salvation. "Enough." Sarah's voice rose, surprising even herself. "We can make our choices now. We can find happiness and love. I want that for Jake, for me, and for Lisa too." There, amidst the festival lights and laughter, the air shifted. Sarah felt a flood of warmth course through her, acceptance washing over fear. Tom opened his mouth, then closed it again, face taut with confusion and anger. "Whatever," he muttered finally, turning away. As he retreated into the throng, Sarah tried to catch her breath. Adrenaline coursed through her, leaving her exhilarated and shaken. She turned to Lisa, who was looking at her with eyes wide in admiration. "That was Lisa," began, her voice trailing off, but the pride in her gaze spoke volumes. "I've never seen you stand up like that. You were amazing." A smile crept across Sarah's face, brightening the remnants of her earlier anxiety. "Thank you. I just realized I have to speak my truth." Lisa beamed back, the moment thick with promise. But just as the heaviness began to lift, the shadows returned. Not just from Tom, but feelings of insecurity, doubt, and the question that hovered in all their hearts. Could they truly find healing together in the days to come? The evening continued, laughter ringing like bells, but uncertainty remained. Simmering beneath the surface, what would tomorrow bring? Would their connections endure the tests of their pasts? Would they find the courage to heal as a family? The festival surged around Sarah like a flowing river. Laughter, music, and the scent of food filled the air, but her mind was elsewhere, grappling with the echo of Tom's words. She took a deep breath, grounding herself in the moment, but that familiar weight pushed against her chest again. "Sarah," Lisa said softly, nudging her shoulder. "Want to find Jake? I saw him with a group by the Ferris wheel earlier." "Yeah, let us go," Sarah replied, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside. She started walking, and Lisa fell into step beside her, providing a comforting presence. As they moved through the thrumming crowd, flashes of laughter caught Sarah's attention. Families sharing cotton candy, kids racing each other to the next ride. Each smile made her heart ache a little more for what had been. She glanced at Lisa. The innocence and joy radiating from her seemed untouched by the shadows of the past. "Do you think he's okay?" Sarah asked, a hint of worry creeping in. "Jake? Of course. He asked with friends. Just enjoying life," Lisa replied, her voice bright. "But how are you?" "After well, Tom." "It's complex," Sarah admitted, furrowing her brow. "I felt so strong standing up to him, but then I could almost hear the doubts whispering. Did I handle it right? What if I pushed him away from Jake?" Lisa paused, turning to face Sarah fully, her expression sincere. "You didn't push him away. You took a stand for yourself and for Jake. That matters more than you know." "Maybe," Sarah mumbled, but uncertainty still curled in her gut, a persistent reminder of everything she feared losing. They reached the Ferris wheel, its vibrant lights twinkling like stars in the velvety night sky. "There he is," Lisa called out, pointing to a cluster of kids near the base of the ride. Jake stood in the center, laughing, his eyes sparkling with happiness. Sarah felt warmth pulse in her chest. This was what she wanted for him: joy, connection, and lightness. When Jake spotted them, he dashed over, his face lighting up. "Mom, Lisa, we're about to ride the Ferris wheel." He tugged at Sarah's hand, excitement bubbling out of him. "You have to come with me." She looked at Lisa, who nodded encouragingly. "Let us go." As they climbed into the brightly painted car of the Ferris wheel, Sarah's heart raced not from fear, but from the sweet anticipation of joy she hadn't allowed herself to feel in a long time. The wheel creaked and groaned as it began its ascent, and she took in the panorama of lights below each flicker, a reminder of the community she sought to embrace. As they soared higher, Sarah's fears began to drift away. It felt as though she was rising alongside her spirit, breaking free of the chains of doubt. Jake's laughter echoed around her, washing over her, and Lisa's warm presence beside her fortified that sense of belonging. "Look at that," Lisa shouted, pointing to a firework bursting in the sky, a brilliant spray of color lighting up the night. In that moment, as sparks flew above, a realization struck Sarah. They were forging new memories, building a foundation on the ruins of the past. Tom's disdain didn't define her family, it was what she chose to create that mattered. But as the Ferris wheel reached its peak, Sarah caught a glimpse of Tom at the edge of the festival ground, lingering in the shadows. He was watching. The light from the fireworks illuminated his face for just a moment, and an unsettling question twisted in her heart. Was he still a part of their lives, even if she wanted him to let go? How would he react to her newfound strength? How would it impact Jake? The questions loomed like shadows, heavy and thick. As the ride began its descent, a new wave of determination surged through Sarah. She wanted to embrace the coming days with hope, yet something told her that the real battle was just beginning. Would they be able to navigate the path together, or would old wounds twist their journey anew? As they reached the ground, Sarah's heart thudded in her chest, the joy of the ride mingling with her unease. Jake hopped out, eager for the next adventure. But Sarah couldn't shake the nagging feeling brought on by Tom's presence. "Let us find something to eat," Jake chirped, practically bouncing at Sarah's side. His carefree excitement tugged at her heart, reminding her of what was truly important. "Sure, buddy. What do you want?" she asked, forcing a smile. "Cotton candy," he declared, pointing to a brightly colored booth a few yards away. As they walked toward the booth, Sarah's gaze wandered back to the shadows where Tom had lingered. But he was gone now, swallowed by the crowd. A chill rippled through her. "Mom?" Jake's voice broke into her thoughts. "Can I get a big one?" "Of course," she replied, shaking off her worries. As Jake dashed to the booth, Sarah stood back, watching him. Lisa joined her, some distance away, carrying 2 neon pinks of cotton candy. "Do you think he saw me?" Sarah asked, her brow furrowed. "Who, Tom?" "I doubt it," Lisa said. "He's probably trying to figure out a way to get under your skin again." That thought echoed in Sarah's mind. "Maybe. But it's easy for him to linger in the background, isn't it? Every time I think I'm free, there he is." She felt Lisa's hand on her shoulder. "You're stronger than you realize. Don't let him haunt you. You deserve to enjoy moments like these." "Yeah," Sarah agreed, but doubt lingered like a cloud over her heart. She watched Jake's laughter ring out as he twirled in joy, and a small spark of hope flickered. Moments later, they settled on a bench, cotton candy in hand. The night felt lighter, the laughter around them generous and sweet. Sarah leaned back, letting herself soak in the moment. "Look at all those lights," Jake exclaimed, eyes wide as he gazed at the festival. "Yeah," Sarah replied softly, "they're beautiful, aren't they?" Suddenly, Sarah noticed a couple nearby, very much in their own world, sharing a romantic kiss while holding hands under string lights. A pang of longing washed over her. Could she ever find that again? The idea thrilled and terrified her. "Mom, can we go on the carousel next?" Jake interrupted her thoughts, his face painted with glee. "Absolutely," she said, standing and taking his hand. With each step toward the carousel, her chest felt lighter. Maybe she could carve a place in this world for herself, just like the vibrant colors around her. But as they neared the carousel, she spotted Tom again, standing near a stall across the way. This time, his expression was unreadable. Her breath caught in her throat. "What's wrong?" Jake noticed her discomfort. "Nothing, sweetie," she managed, forcing a smile. "Just, let us head over to the carousel." They climbed aboard the painted horses, and as the ride began to spin, Sarah focused on Jake. His delighted shrieks filled her heart with joy, and she rode the wave of his happiness, managing to keep Tom out of her mind for now. But even as the music swirled around her, the sight of Tom lingered, a shadow at the back of her mind. When the carousel finally slowed, the adrenaline rush faded, but Sarah's thoughts spiraled. What could he possibly want now? The uncertainty twisted in her gut, but deep down, she felt the fire of her own resolve sparking into life. "Mom?" Jake's voice pulled her from her reverie. "Can we get ice cream next?" "Of course." But just as she turned her back, She felt a sudden chill. There he was again, Tom, now standing closer, watching her with a look that sent shivers down her spine. Familiar and unnerving. "Let us go see what flavors they have," Sarah said quickly, steering Jake away from Tom's gaze, her heart racing. What did he want to say? Did he plan to confront her? The unease settled back in, heavy and potent. As they moved toward the ice cream stand, she knew one thing for sure. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Could she confront him once and for all? Or would the past continue to haunt her family? Sarah hurried Jake along, the thrill of the festival fading under the weight of uncertainty. Ice cream felt like a small comfort, a sweet distraction, but her eyes instinctively sought Tom out. He was still there, a few steps behind them, blending into the night but never quite disappearing. "We should get rainbow sprinkles," Jake said, tugging her toward the ice cream cart, his spirit unwavering. She watched his excitement and felt a mix of pride and worry. Shouldn't he have to carry this heaviness, should he? Absolutely. Let us do it. She smiled, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. As they approached the stand, Sarah's heart raced. The vendor offered a cheerful greeting, and for a moment, the bright lights and soothing music wrapped them like a warm blanket. Jake was instantly distracted, debating flavors, every suggestion met with delightful enthusiasm. "Can I have chocolate and vanilla?" He beamed, turning to Sarah with those big, earnest eyes. "Of course you can, sweetie," she replied, letting herself momentarily immerse in his joy. She placed their order, but her senses were on high alert. Tom was weaving through the crowd, and she caught glimpses of him, always watching, always just out of reach. "Mom," Jake's voice burst through her thoughts. "Can we share a scoop of cookie dough?" "Sure," she said, trying to mask her growing anxiety. Finally, they had their ice cream, 2 cones, dripping with color and flavor. Jake stared up at her, his enthusiasm rekindled. But just as she leaned down to return his smile, Sarah's heart dropped. Tom had stepped closer, halting a mere few feet from them. "Sarah," he called, his voice slicing through the swirling chaos of laughter and music. The world around her went silent, the joyful buzz fading into a dull thrum. She locked eyes with him, and for a second, memories of anger and confusion flooded her. She fought to keep her composure, reminding herself that she was stronger now. "Jake," she said, trying to keep her voice steady, "how about we go sit over there?" She pointed to a nearby bench, a safe distance from Tom. Jake didn't notice the tension. "Okay," he exclaimed, trotting ahead, ice cream cone held high like a trophy. Her feet felt like lead as she followed him. This is what she wanted, to protect her son, to show him the joy that life could still offer. But the confrontation was unavoidable. Tom was a barrier she had to cross to truly move forward. "Sarah." His voice was softer now, almost gentle. "Can we talk?" "About what?" She shot back, feeling a rush of anger and fear. "About us." He stepped closer, his expression unreadable. "What we had and what went wrong." Her fingers clenched around the ice cream cone, the coolness biting into her palm. "What do you want from me, Tom? We're done. You can't just waltz back into my life like this." He hesitated, and for a moment, she saw a flicker of vulnerability beneath the bravado. But it only fueled her resolve. "Please, just hear me out," he urged. Sarah felt a knot tighten in her stomach. She could feel Jake laughing in the distance, blissfully unaware. This was no place for a confrontation, no place for the ghosts of their past. "Not now," she whispered, shaking her head. "Not here." But as she turned to follow Jake, she felt a hand gently grasp her arm. "I understand. But you can't keep running away from me forever." She quickly pulled free, her pulse racing. Was she just running away? It felt easier to turn her back than face the truth. "Mom?" Jake called, turning back to them, his innocent gaze bouncing between the two. Caught. The love in her son's eyes reminded her of everything she fought for. "I'm coming, buddy," she shouted, forcing a smile to mask her turmoil, but as she took a step away, her mind reeled. Could she really keep running, or would she have to confront the past to embrace a new future? She glanced over her shoulder. Tom's eyes were still upon her, a challenge and a plea intertwined. With her heart thundering in her chest, she turned toward Jake, but one question echoed in her mind. Was she finally ready to face the truth? Or would fear keep her shackled to the shadows of yesterday? Jake's laughter cut through the night air, wrapping around Sarah like a lifeline. He was a beacon of joy, his ice cream smeared across his cheeks, but every time she looked at him, the weight of Tom's gaze sent chills down her spine. "Mom, look!" Jake exclaimed, jumping up and down as he spotted a balloon artist twisting bright colors into playful shapes. "Can I get a balloon dog?" Sarah's heart broke and mended in the same breath. She wanted so much to say yes, to lose herself in this moment of sheer childhood joy. Yet Tom lingered in the back of her mind, a reminder of the past that she just couldn't shake off. Couldn't she just enjoy this night without worrying about a grown man's mistakes? "Of course you can," she managed, fighting the urge to glance back at Tom. She forced herself to look only at her son, letting warmth fill her heart as she watched him bound toward the balloon stand. As Jake stood in line, Sarah's thoughts swirled. Tom's words from moments ago echoed. "You can't keep running away from me forever." Did he think she was running? Or was she just trying to protect what little happiness she and Jake had? She tried to shake off the confusion, focusing instead on Jacob. He was still bouncing, his eyes wide with anticipation. "Mom, this will be the biggest dog ever." "Bigger than you?" she teased, clasping her hands together. That was the joy she wanted to nurture. "Yeah," he laughed, and Sarah felt a rush of relief trickle through her. Moments like this could fill them with hope. Just as Jake finally got his balloon, Sarah felt a shift in the atmosphere. Tom stepped closer, breaking through the barrier of laughter surrounding them. He wore an earnest look, a mixture of desperation and determination etched across his face. "Sarah." "No," she interrupted firmly, her heart racing again. This wasn't a moment for half-truths or apologies. "Not here, not now. You said what you needed to say. I don't want to revisit that tonight." "Please," he pleaded, his hand still lingering in the air as if checking the distance between them. "I'm trying to understand. I've changed. I swear." Those words hung in the air heavy with intent. But his past actions had carved deep scars in her heart. Trust was a fragile thing, shattering with the slightest touch, and she wasn't ready to piece it back together yet. "Mom, can we go on the Ferris wheel after this?" Jake shouted, turning back to her, bright-eyed and alive with excitement. A little light ignited in her chest, igniting a flame of purpose. She nodded, engulfing herself in Jake's happiness once more, a warmth that felt like home. But just then, a shadow flitted behind Jake. Sarah turned slightly, her heart catching. Tom had not stepped back. He still stood there, an intruder in their sacred moment. "Just think about it," he urged softly, desperation dripping from his voice. Sarah clenched her jaw, trying to compartmentalize her feelings, thoughts swirling like confetti in the breeze. Could she actually think about it? Could she really give him another chance? "Come on, buddy. Let us go," Sarah shouted to Jake, putting on a brave face as she led him toward the Ferris wheel. She felt the heat of Tom's stare on her back, but the thrill surged in Jake's footsteps, reminding her why she had to keep moving forward. They climbed aboard the Ferris wheel, the world falling away as they rose higher into the night sky. Jake squealed with delight, a sound that made Sarah's heart swell. The view was breathtaking, but it was nothing compared to the view of her son's face, lit up with unfiltered joy. As they swayed gently, Sarah's heart began to mend, stitching together the rifts with love, laughter, and promises not yet spoken. Looking down below, she tried not to think of Tom, yet she could see him standing there, waiting. In that moment, Sarah realized she had a choice. A choice between the past and the potential of a future, but as the wheel stopped at the top, she felt a new wave of uncertainty crash over her. Did she have enough courage to face what Tom wanted to say next? She took a deep breath, gazing at the horizon. Ahead, where the festival lights twinkled like stars, a clash of hope and fear spiraled within her. What happened next could change everything. What would she decide to do when the ride inevitably came to a halt? As the Ferris wheel creaked softly, Rocking gently at its peak, Sarah felt her heart racing. Below, the sounds of laughter and music swirled around them like a comforting blanket, but at that moment, it all faded away. The world became a blur. All that remained was Jake, the vibrant glow of the fair below, and the tangled thoughts of Tom lingering in her mind. "Mom, look at the lights!" Jake shouted, waving his arms in excitement. His voice broke through the haze, and for a moment, Sarah was fully present, seeing the wonder through his eyes. They sprawled across the fairgrounds like a colorful patchwork. "Wow, buddy!" "It's beautiful," she replied, smiling at him. But as the thrill of the view washed over her, the weight of Tom's presence seeped back in. She wanted to turn the wheel backwards, retreat to the safety of the past. But she was here now, and every second was a reminder that time wasn't going to wait for her. Suddenly, she was hit with a wave of realization. What if she could reconstruct her future built on stability, safety, and most importantly, happiness? "Can we ride it again after?" Jake asked, his eyes sparkling with hope. Sarah chuckled, "Only if I'm not too dizzy." But in truth, she felt her stomach turn with anxiety as she looked down, only to see Tom still standing at the base, an island of regret against a sea of joy. Up there, on the Ferris wheel, she could almost forget him. Almost. But memories of their past flashed through her mind like a reel of film, each frame bearing the weight of both love and hurt. She recalled laughter that turned to anger, intimacy that morphed into silence, and dreams that crumbled into nightmares. Even now, the thought of Tom's return sent ripples of apprehension through her. "Mom? You okay?" Jake's soft voice brought her back. She flashed him a smile, but it was strained. "Yeah, buddy. Just thinking about what?" Jake pressed, tilting his head to look at her. His innocence cut through her internal struggles. A part of her wanted to shield him, to protect him from the complexities of adult relationships. "About how lucky I am to have you." Jake beamed. "Me too. We're like best friends." Her heart swelled again, and as the ride started its descent, Sarah felt the weight of her choices pressing down on her. Could she really move forward without confronting the past? When they reached the bottom, her heart raced again. Tom stood there, worry etched into his features. She could see he was still waiting, still hoping for something she wasn't sure she could give. Her breath caught. Did she have enough strength to even start unpacking the emotional baggage swirling inside her? "Let's go grab some cotton candy," she suggested to Jake, trying to push the heavy thoughts aside. As they began to walk, she could feel Tom's eyes on her, and every step felt like a tether to the moments they'd shared. In the back of her mind, she knew she couldn't keep avoiding him forever, but how could she face him without breaking all over again? "Mom?" Jake interrupted her thoughts, glancing up at her. "Are we going to see him again?" Sarah hesitated. She didn't want to burden him with the complexities of grown-up hearts and choices. But the truth hung in the air between them. "Maybe, but not right now, buddy." She forced a smile, ruffling his hair as they moved toward the bustling stand filled with sweets. "Okay," he chirped, clearly excited at the thought of sugar. The sugary scent wafted through the air, an enticing distraction, but as delightful as the cotton candy was, it couldn't mask the reality that would soon demand her attention again. As they settled on a bench to enjoy their treat, Jake chattered animatedly about the fair. Sarah nibbled on her cotton candy, her mind torn between the sweet taste of now and the bitter hint of what loomed ahead. And as they watched the carnival lights flash around them, she couldn't help but wonder, when would she finally have the courage to confront Tom? The question lingered, heavy like the candy unspooled in her hands, a mix of sweetness and uncertainty. How much longer could she hold on to her fears before making a choice that could reshape everything? With each burst of laughter from her son, Sarah felt the pull of hope and uncertainty collide, giving her just a moment to breathe before the inevitable challenge awaited. But could she take that step toward change? The answer felt like a ghost, barely whispering above the noise of the fair. The colors of the festival swirled like a painting come to life, each hue vibrant with joy. Sarah's heart beat in rhythm with the laughter echoing around her, but the truth loomed like a specter just beyond the corner of her eye. Tom was still out there, perhaps lurking in the shadows of her mind, but she couldn't let that ruin these beautiful moments with Jake. "Mom, look at that!" Jake exclaimed, pointing at a circus act, a juggler tossing bright balls high into the air. In that instant, she couldn't help but join in his delight as a rush of warmth enveloped her. For an instant, it felt like it could be just the two of them forever, lost in laughter, a vibrant bubble of happiness separated from everything else. But a moment later, her gaze flickered back to where Tom had stood. Was he watching? She shook her head, trying to shake off the uncertainty that misaligned her heart's compass. "What do you want to do next, buddy?" she asked, forcing the doubt away. "Let us find that balloon artist. I want to get a dinosaur this time." Jake's excitement was infectious, and a smile crept onto her face. "All right, dinosaur it is." They walked, hand in hand, more like companions. It felt good, but lingering fears crept close, reminding her that the past wasn't far behind. As they approached the balloon stand, laughter filled the air. Just as Jake excitedly placed his order and turned to watch the artist twist the balloon, Sarah felt her heart thrum. She had a choice to make. Was she really going to keep running from the confrontation she needed? "Sarah." Tom's voice pierced through the joyous ambience, and for a moment, the world dimmed around her. He stepped forward again, catching her off guard. She could see the soft pleading in his eyes. Did he truly think they could rewrite the past from that static moment? Her pulse quickened. She had stood up to him before. Why did this still feel so daunting? "Not here," she managed, her heart racing. "Can we talk later?" "Just not now." Her voice was steady, clamped down with resolve, but somewhere she felt an ache of longing for a different kind of connection. "Just hear me out," he pressed, and for a fleeting moment, something in her softened. Perhaps he was right. Perhaps running would only deepen the divide. But today was not the day. Not when Jake was having the time of his life, spinning with delight. "Jake," she called, breaking free from the moment. "We got your dinosaur." He turned, eyes shining with joy, and it tugged at her heart. Seeing the glimmer of hope, she realized there were more important battles to fight, those that mattered in the here and now. With a squeal of happiness, Jake bounded over, clutching his creation, and Sarah could almost feel a layer of doubt slip from her shoulders. "Mom, look how cool it is." He beamed. "Wow, that's awesome, buddy," she exclaimed, leaning down to ruffle Jake's hair, the simple joy weaving through her heart, knitting it back together. There in that moment, surrounded by the chaos of celebration, she made a decision. Maybe it wasn't about running away. Maybe it was about standing firm, taking the love around her and using it as a shield to face whatever would come next. Over the next hour, they navigated the festival, dancing lights, mouth-watering treats, and the sweet sound of joy echoing through the fairgrounds. Laughter threaded them together, more powerful and binding than any foreboding feeling of the past. And just when she thought she could forget about Tom, the warmth of connection pulled her back. As they sat down for a moment in the festival's heart, surrounded by new friends and shared laughter, Sarah could feel the tide of transformation shifting within her. "Jake, listen, Mom. Can we try that lemon stand? I want to make a lemonade stand at home." His innocence burst like the best bubbles, a reminder of all she hoped to protect. "That's a great idea. Let us get a drink," and then she paused, taking a breath. "Then maybe we can find a place to sit and just enjoy the evening." The approach of dusk created a magical backdrop, igniting sparks in the air as fireworks began to burst overhead, colors reflecting off the faces around them, children clapping in delight, laughter drowning out fears. And then, amidst the vibrant chaos, ready to redefine her journey, Sarah took a breath like laundry fresh off a line, deep, crisp, full of hope. "Tomorrow, maybe I'll confront Tom," she spoke softly to herself, letting that decision settle in. Today was for her son. Today was for love, laughter, and the family that she would choose to embrace, built on threads of joy woven by the past. As the last firework exploded in a shower of shimmering light, Sarah looked out at the festival, at Jake laughing for a moment. Everything wavered between past pains and future strength. Hopes began to ripple through her, affirming the path she would carve through uncertainties. There was power in choice. There was hope in connection. Not just a new beginning, but a beautiful, complex journey ahead. The night faded slowly, like the last note of a cherished song, and Sarah felt lighter as she gathered the memories, ready for what tomorrow would bring. Each moment was a piece of the whole, a future threaded with acceptance and redemption. She had taken the first steps toward healing, not only for herself but for her family, and she knew that whatever lay ahead, it would be worth it. If you're feeling inspired by this journey, it's time for you to take action. You need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that uplift and transform. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the love going. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Your voice matters. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans and fellow supporters understand the importance of being part of this uplifting community.